Hello, it is Askrystalracquel and I'm back again with another video. I hope you are doing amazing. I am back here. I have an interesting topic to talk with you all about today, and I also just wanted to start adding into my videos. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're interested in my content. I do give information about dating topics. I may throw in some hauls here and there. I will also probably give you some videos about motherhood. And basically, I have a lot of knowledge about mental health and health related topics, as well as just everyday life topics. And I'm also a life coach. If you're interested in booking a session with me, please go to the description box of this video or go to my main profile. So I have a topic for you. The main topic that I want to discuss with you is do not move in with him. Do not move in with him. I know in this day and age, cohabitating has become very popular, but it is not going to be your best bet. I've seen many times where ladies will think they have something good going with a man, and then they will take the big step. That big step is not engagement, not marriage. The big step is moving in with the individual, or what we're seeing a lot in different communities, the man will move in with the woman, right? If she has something, she has a home, or she has a place to stay. Maybe he doesn't have a place to stay. Maybe he goes from relationship to relationship, or from his mom's house to relationship. Okay, so first of all, many of you know I do come from a Christian background, so that's where my knowledge and my advice is coming from. However, outside of the Christian aspect, which I'll get into, the studies have proven that cohabitating does not lead to better marriages. Those who cohabitate before marriage end up in divorce more than people who did not cohabitate. And those of you who have been on my channel for a while, specifically since the end of 2022, you may know that I am married and I did not live with my husband before marriage. So outside of what the statistics show and studies show, marriages are, first of all, we all know that marriages in the United States, the success rate is not that great. I believe it's about 50-50, or it might be a higher percentage for likelihood to divorce than to stay married. But there's some ways that we can, give us the best outlook for a marriage and for a relationship. So number one, do not move in with anybody or have them move in with you. I think I talked about this before, about how to get a man to propose to you within 6 months to a year, but I'm just going to go over it again. You do not want to live with anyone, particularly your partner, I should say. What's going to happen is they're going to become familiar with you. Let's say you're not living with them, you guys are just getting to know each other, dating. He's going to take you on dates. If we're of the same mind, right, the man is going to be taking you out on dates to get to know you. But let's say you want to become official. I've spoken about another video that I don't really believe in boyfriend, girlfriend. I believe more in, you're dating, get to know someone, you're trying to figure out if that person's for you. You should really be treating them like a brother and sister in Christ prior to, you guys making it official. But official is more like you guys are dating, getting to know each other, maybe getting to know each other exclusively. It gets to that point, but it's not boyfriend, girlfriend, because a lot of times when it turns into boyfriend, girlfriend, there is this expectation. There's a false sense of commitment that's not there, right? Because the real commitment that comes is when the man asks to marry you, you accept, right? So we just want to make sure that we're doing things the right way, the godly way. Things in the Bible, a lot of times we figure, okay, well, this isn't the Bible, but who cares? Why does it matter? Let's just live our lives. No, sometimes we might not even understand why things are a certain way in the Bible, but it's not really our job to sit there and say, well, this was back then. Back then they didn't live with one another. That's because their marriages were super quick. No, there's a reason, that there's a lot of things leads to temptation. So as you all may know, I do speak about doing things the right way, the godly way. And that includes not living with your partner before marriage. There's, you can say, hey, well, there's so many ways. No, I want to get to know my partner. How am I going to get to know them? What usually happens, ladies, is the man becomes so familiar with you that one, he'll stop. Well, I've never lived with someone I was dating, but what happens is he'll stop wanting to do nice things for you, stop wanting to treat you, stop maybe treating you like that diamond, that piece of a gemstone. He is gonna maybe think, okay, well, you know, I seen everything. Oh, this is what she looks like when she wakes up in the morning, and when she is getting ready, she's putting on her face. Oh, that's what she looks like. Oh, she's been wearing Spanx. Oh, wow. So, you know, anyone who's saying like, oh, for a first date, make sure you take the woman out to like the beach so you can see her without makeup. No, it's ridiculous, because when you're dating someone, you are putting your best foot forward. It, you know, and half the time, people who are saying that they prefer somebody natural don't. The ladies that they're looking at and thinking are natural still have on light makeup. But that's besides the point. You don't want to live with someone before marriage. That's going to set you up for a disaster. You would be more likely to get married if you don't move in with the person than if you do. First of all, let's just assume that you're not being intimate with the person, because I also speak about that. You should not be being intimate with anybody prior to marriage. But let's say you're like, oh, no, we're just going to live together like roommates, and, you know, we're just going to get to know each other that way. All right, well, just know it's going to stay roommates. He's not going to marry you. I'm almost 100% sure he will not marry you by you moving in with him. And also, you know, you have to represent goodness, right? So based on this day and age, when you live with someone, your boyfriend, girlfriend, the assumption is that you all are sleeping together. So you still want to portray yourself in a negative way. Oh, I just saw like a fly by. You know, it's really hot. I think we had the door open, but you don't want anybody to have, I forget what the saying is. You don't want anybody to have any suspicion that anything untoward is going on. You want to make sure you're representing Christ well. No one should be able to say, okay, well, like 95% of people who live together and are dating are sleeping together. So obviously this couple is, even if you're not. And there are certain instances, mind you, we never lived together. I moved in after our honeymoon. But there's a certain case where it's like, okay, like let's say someone is moving from a different country and they have to stay with you for like a month before you marry, or like the week before you marry. But like, you know, I would suggest you should get your own arrangement that's not living with a person. But let's say someone has to just live with the person for whatever reason, moving from out of state, and you guys are getting married like in 30 days. You already have your marriage paperwork. That's like something a little bit different, right? But to be living with somebody for several months, I would say even 2 months is too much, honestly. But like there's like a little leeway, like okay, like it's a month, like they're moving, you guys are doing the preparations together. That's a little bit different, but you should have separate rooms. And there's even some people where they'll say, you know, no, we're not doing anything, and then they're gonna get into temptation by living with that person. You know, there's just certain lines you don't want to cross. And of course, back to the dating scenario, I guarantee you that man is not going to be taking you out on dates and stuff like that anymore. You guys are going to be staying in. You're going to become his live-in wife, even though you're not his wife. And you're going to be sitting there like, well, he said he was going to marry me, but I moved in. Mind you, I've seen this. Woman will say, well, yeah, we're going to move in. He said I'm his future wife. We're going to get married eventually. If you move in with him, even if he does marry you, it's going to take longer. Let's say he would have proposed to you and married you within 6 months to a year. You move in with him, it could take 5 years before he proposes or potentially marries you. Or he might just give you what they call a shut-up ring within a year of you moving in, and then you don't get married. We've seen it happen time and time again. So we have to just be focused. We have to make sure we're doing the right thing, especially if you want to get results. I know a lot of us, you know, want marriage, want to have a good life, want to have a family, want to make sure, you know, we can build a family and have children with our partner, a loving, good partner who's going to, you know, protect us, take care of us. And for the cases of men, a woman who's going to be caring and, you know, be there for him and help support him, not financially, okay, I'm just saying support him and like, you know, help him and say good things and make him feel good about himself. We just have to make sure we're doing the right thing. And another thing, you really want to make sure that you're not saying to yourself, well, that's the only way I can get to know someone. That is not correct. You can get to know someone by having conversations, going on dates, going on dinners. And I'm not saying you have to go out on dinners like every day during the week or multiple times a week, but you can even build conversations. You should be able to not like be up in their face in the evening time all day. You want the person to respect you. And a lot of times as women, we're like, we want to give our heart. No, when you're in the dating phase, that's not what you're doing. I made sure I didn't do that either. I made sure that I was focused. I was thinking more with my head. I was like, all right, let's see. This is kind of like an interview process. I'm getting to know, I think I told you all, it was 3 individuals, okay? And then just trying to pick the best individual for my life, which is very important. We cannot get distracted by like the physical realm, looks. I've mentioned before, like, make sure you're not allowing these men to kiss you or anything like that on dates, especially early on. Maybe perhaps if you are now exclusive and you're not dating anyone else, but even so, that's not the focus. You're trying to find a life partner. That stuff is besides the point. That stuff will come later. There's no need to rush any of that. And when you start doing that, you're going to cloud your judgment. But back to not moving in with someone, you're going to prevent heartbreak for yourself by not moving in with someone. People can do a lot of talk. Someone say they're going to marry you. All right, that is wonderful to hear. I'm not saying you should say this to the individual, to the man, but let me see if that's going to happen. All right, you're going to marry me. Ladies, there's no reason for you to start trying to make all these efforts as if he has married you. The man has really not done anything until you've walked down the aisle together and signed that paperwork. You know, that shows that he is really there. He's going to be your protector and provider. In this day and age, what we're seeing is men and women, they're like going at each other, especially especially in the Black community, going at each other, men asking women what they bring to the table, when back in the day, we just automatically know what women bring to the table. The woman is the one that is going to carry your child. As you all may know, I just had my baby last month. The woman is going to carry your child, and she's going to be caring for your child. She's going to help make sure that your children survive. She's going to instill good values in them, hopefully. Those are the things that the women bring to the table. And of course, women can work, and they have, what's the word? Women, I don't know, but women can be entrepreneurs, and they can have businesses, and they can help build the kingdom of God. Of course, those things are nice and wonderful. We know about the Proverbs 31 woman. She woke up really early in the morning. She took care of her kids. She was sewing, selling stuff. Yes, that is a woman to be praised, as says the good book. But we know what a woman brings to the table, right? And as for ladies, now they're looking at men and saying, what, you're under 6 foot? Okay, bye. Like, making it seem like that is the worth of a man. Same with a man towards a woman, right? Oh, like, you're 10 pounds overweight, you're 30, ain't nobody wants you. Those, it's like people are really going at each other. But back to the other scenario, right? Women are talking about men, they're too short. I'm never gonna date a man like that, as if the men are worthless. We need to focus on the right things. Focus on getting to know the person. And one, I'm not saying there's anything wrong. If you want a man to be taller than you, that is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that, because on average, men are taller than women, and that would make a woman feel protected, potentially. But on the flip side, there's also nothing wrong if a man would like their woman to be a healthy weight, right? Or care about their health and eat well, and or at least be striving to, lose weight, or in terms of for their health purposes. But when you start hearing things like talking down on men because of their height, or what we hear a lot, talking down on women because of their age or their size, that's when we're getting into some other realm. We need to focus on the right things. Attraction is very important. It goes both ways. So I would say what I'm seeing with men, they're talking about women's age a lot, talking about women's size, and women are talking about men and their height as well as their money. Granted, yes, ladies, if you are looking for a man and his characteristics that you're of a certain age, you 100% are looking at his drive, ambition, and yes, dare I say, income, because you need to be wise. You want to have a family, especially if you're 30 plus and you're doing well for yourself. You have a good job, or you have a lot of potential. You would want to see the same in your guy, your man, because he's going to be the one that is considered a provider. And yeah, you want to just be mindful of that. However, you're not to be talking down on men and making it seem like they're nothing because they don't earn a certain income. That's just really wrong. However, men also, you have to make sure that you're not looking at women as like a meal ticket, trying to use women, move in with them. Remember, you're the provider. So this is what I want to say before I end the video. Ladies and men, well, ladies specifically, be mindful. Once again, don't move in with anybody, but also there are certain men, mind you, men, this is not to diss you all, this is just a specific type of man that I feel ladies need to watch out for. And this video is more so geared toward ladies, honestly. So there are some men they have never lived on their own. Be mindful of that. So even if, let's say, you don't move in with him, but let's say he wants to be with you and stuff, be mindful if he really is going to be able to provide for you. A man should be able to sustain you, your lifestyle together. He should be able to pay his own bills. He should have had his own apartment or place to live. You should not find out that he constantly lives with girlfriends, or he was living with his mom if you are younger in your 20s, and it's completely fine. It's completely fine that some cultures live with their parents through a certain age, including in their 20s. But if you see a man and he said he's going to take care of you, and you see that he is living with a roommate, and not like a roommate where he has his own space, his own place, and he's paying directly to the landlord, but a roommate, they split bills together because he cannot afford his own one bedroom by himself, meaning he does not have the funds to be able to support himself, and he's from this country. That's not somebody you should trust to take care of you. Or if there's a man he was living with his mom before, and he goes from his mom's to girlfriends, or if he's constantly has roommates, that's not somebody you would even trust to provide for you. You have to be real here. You can't. There was a show I was watching, like an online podcast, or on YouTube, and it was a lady calling into a show, and she was like, I don't know what to do. He's not providing. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and he's not able to do it for me. The man, I think, never had a full-time job. Now I think he has a full-time job as like a pastor, which they wouldn't be making good money. There's a lot of people who are pastors. They do what they have to do. They'll be a pastor, but then they also work a full-time job, as they should, to be able to provide. But she was like, yeah, I don't know. But then the man, he always lived with his parents. He never supported himself on his own. And then she was confused as to why he couldn't provide for her. Look at those signs. You need to make good decisions for your life. If a man has always lived at home, and I'm not saying if there's an elderly parent who can't take care of themselves and they have to move in, and the man is caring for the parent, that's completely different. But if you see that he doesn't pay bills, do not look at it as, oh, he's just saving. Really, are you sure? Because 9 out of 10, when you move in or when you guys get a place together, he's going to expect those 50-50 bills from you. Don't act confused when that happens. We have to be wise, use wisdom. So yes, this video was about not moving in with a man prior to marriage, and also making sure that you definitely don't move in with somebody who hasn't, or think that someone's going to provide for you if they always have a roommate, always live with other girlfriends, and you do not see that they can support themselves. If the man is a provider, they should be able to support themselves without you. They should not need your money. The man should be able to support himself. So let's say you all come together, you all getting married, he should be able to pay those bills. He should. And I'm not, it depends. Maybe you have a job and you pay different bills together now. But if you become pregnant and you're not working, you shouldn't have to feel like you have to rush to go back to work right away. You should be able to spend time with your child. I'm not talking about 6 weeks, because he should be able to support those bills. And if you're a lady, you say, well, what he can provide for me is not what I'm comfortable with. So that's why I need to include all my income. So no, he would not be able to support the household without my money. So I feel more comfortable with that. All right, well, my thing is that's on you, but there are a lot of men who are providers. It's just up to you to decide whether or not what they're providing is something that you're satisfied with. A lot of us women, most of us are not built for what we think we are, in terms of like, no, I'm gonna be a full-time worker, I'm gonna take care of the kids and all this stuff. God knows how he designed all of us. So it's just natural that if you have a baby, you'll want to be the one to take care of them. So choose wisely when you're choosing a partner, but also don't make it to where now like the household depends on your income, because that's going to be stressful. You deserve to be able to stay with your child for those early months, especially if you want to, which most of us do. But we also have to be wise. So we have to make sure that we are, remember, where the help meet, right? So let's meet the men where they're at. Let's see where they're at. And I mean, this is something that I think is a good idea. You have a partner, you find a man, he has his income, he's supporting himself, and he is able to provide you a certain lifestyle. I would say, if possible, your income can go towards different things. Like it can go towards savings. Maybe he'll pay the bills and you put your money towards savings, and of course your little things that you need for yourself. I think that's a good way to do things. So that way your money is not needed, but your money's there for savings or emergencies, things like that. And of course for your spending for yourself. That's why I think it's a good idea. But, people do things differently. But if a man is looking for you and he needs you to go 50-50, that's not a good sign. And ladies, I don't suggest you try to volunteer to do 50-50. It's not a good look. It's not something that's going to help you. You'd be better off, ladies, if you think the man that you're interested in can't provide the lifestyle that you're looking for. You either are going to go along with whatever he has, which you're probably going to say you settle and you're not going to be happy, or you're just going to have to date somebody else. Wait for somebody who can provide the lifestyle that you're looking for. You might be waiting a long time, but I mean, that's going to be the best bet, because otherwise you're not going to be happy. You're going to be dissatisfied. You're going to be frustrated. And it would just be better for you to date somebody who you think can provide for the lifestyle that you're seeking, versus you trying to now say, oh, I'm going to put all my income into this, we're going to do this together. Because remember, when other things come up, it's not together. You may think you're paying those bills together. When it comes to most likely cleaning those dishes, doing the laundry, even cooking, it's not going to be 50-51. A lot of us cook really well. A lot of us have a certain way of cleaning things that's a little bit different from men. But when you start saying, and then also with the caring of children, a lot of the caring does fall on the women, and rightly so, because we are caregivers. We are just better at certain things, right? Like a dad is going to be good with playing with the child, teaching them certain things, teaching boys how to be men, protecting them, but he might not be really delicate with them, right? Like with cleaning them, he might be a little rough. Luckily my husband's not like that, but I mean, a lot of men, they don't know their own strength, is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of things do fall on us. So we just have to be mindful. People need to stop thinking, oh, 50-50 is just fair. No, it's actually not fair, because of everything else the woman is going to do. And it just really ends up in a bad situation with women being stressed out. I've seen a lot of ladies that are 70, their husband's around the same age, and they do not look the same age. The man looks way younger than them. The men, they go work, they do what they have to do, they come home, they relax a little bit. The woman, they go to work full time, come home, does laundry, cook, cares for the kids, gets them to bed. I'm not saying that men doesn't help at all, but You know, the man might just be so exhausted and tired. Remember, we're all created differently, but then over time the woman gets stressed. As we know, the majority of divorces are from women. That's not by coincidence. I certainly think a lot of it has to do with the way things are set up. Of course, yes, now women work, so now they feel like not tied to a certain situation, but a situation that's not serving them. However, a lot of times what's happening is they're just overwhelmed and stressed. There's so much on the woman's plate that they just feel like, you know what, it's time for me to go because I'm doing so much. Basically, women feel like they're doing more, way more than with the man than if they were alone, versus the men, they're doing less a lot of times. Yes, they're working. Maybe someone might try to get promotions and things like that, but a lot of times men nowadays are not trying to find a second job because they say that she was stressed, hence the 50-50 thing. What they're now saying is, they go to work, they come home, and now the men are actually having a lot to do less, right? Whereas before they cooked for themselves, usually they cleaned for themselves, hopefully. They did their own laundry, definitely. Now the woman's there to do all that, right? So, and the lady's doing her own stuff plus more. So let's say the ladies were very clean. Now, how you would clean before, you would clean like once a week or whatever, and things were fine, everything looks nice and dandy. But now with the man, he might not be as neat as you, might not be as clean. So now there's more for you to do, right? So that's the reason why there's a lot of divorces. But anyway, my main point of this video is do not move in with him. Don't move in with him. Stop. And if you want to get married, you'll do things the right way. That includes getting to know him, going on dates, making sure he can value you, see who you really are without anything in the bedroom, without being physical with him. And things are going to really work out for you. As some of you may know, I was dating my husband. We really dated for about 5.5 months before he proposed to me. And I think I was dating him exclusively for just 3 or 4 months. But from when we had our first date, I think it was 5.5 months, and then we married 7 months later on the 1-year anniversary of our first date. And we just celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary this year. So yeah, do things the right way, and things are gonna happen for you in God's timing. I hope you have a wonderful day and stay blessed. Bye. I'll be back soon.